The Bernabéu hummed like a live wire, every seat vibrating with expectation and the kind of nervous energy that makes small mistakes feel like calamities. Real Madrid's scoreboard finally read 2-1, but the number alone lied. The match had been a ledger of what might have been, a string of moments erased by a steely VAR hand and tiny offside margins that rewrote celebrations into curses. Vedat Muriki's early header had jolted the home crowd into stunned silence, and for a long hour the white shirt seemed slightly adrift, probing, urgent but lacking the snap that turns chance into certainty. Then Arda Güler, with the suddenness of a flare, threaded an answer that pulsed through the stands, followed by Vinicius Junior's instant riposte moments later, 2 strikes so close they felt like a single explosive correction of the game's balance. Even with those goals, the night kept throwing blanks at Madrid. 3 efforts were ruled out and jubilation was clipped by replays. In that theatre, Alvaro Carreras grew into a figure who refused to be overlooked. Defensively immaculate and swift to the touch, when attacking space, he offered the temperament a team rebuilding its identity demands. Xabi Alonso, speaking calmly after the game, framed the victory as progress more than proof, praising conviction while warning that comfort was miles away and work remained. The manager sounded pleased but not pacified. Mbappé, for all the headlines and the near misses, remained a constant threat. He found himself fractionally out of sync with the final whistle rather than with his quality, and Alonso shrugged off the lack of goals with a confidence that trusted a striker's instincts over a single scoreline. The substitutions steadied a team that at times looked like it might fray under Mallorca's stubbornness. Alonso said training will focus on pressing and intensity, the small margins that will define the season. The international break looms like a pause in an unfinished symphony, a moment for reflection and regrouping before the Champions League's heavy curtain lifts again. Yet the perfect record still left questions about consistency and VAR. Fans left with hope and irritation, aware that 3 wins do not erase what still needs fixing. Across the night there were smaller dramas. The disallowed strikes that had sent teammates into brief euphoria and then into the mechanical patience of officials. The tactical nudges Alonso made when the middle lost rhythm. The quiet conversations on the touchline as players checked each other's bearings. Carreras' arrival had been hoped for, and tonight his timing and composure spoke for themselves. For Fran Garcia and others waiting in the wings, the message was equal parts reassurance and threat. Reassurance that competition will sharpen performances, threat that places are transient for those who rest on reputation. When Xabi talked about phases, he meant that matches unfold like chapters with different moods, and Madrid have to learn to write the ending without panic. He was frank about pressing lapses and the need to tighten the noose earlier when games threatened to drift. That honesty sat oddly well with a crowd still hungry for trophies. They appreciate realism because it promises tangible fixes rather than empty praise. VAR and its human instruments will occupy argument rooms for days. The wider error at Vitoria the same afternoon had already ignited debate about consistency, and Alonso was pointed in his call for better use rather than wholesale dependence. He does not want football to become a game re-officiated in slow motion. When technology intervenes, it must lift decisions, not muddle them. Individual arcs threaded through the result. Vinicius returned with sparkle, linking dribbles to a finish that reminded everyone of the slalom magic he keeps in reserve. Arda Güler showed flashes of the creativity his reputation promises, and when his moment was annulled, the sense of almost settled like fog over the 90 minutes. Rodrigo's energy and willingness to plug gaps when Madrid needed numbers behind the ball spoke to a culture shifting towards shared responsibility rather than isolated brilliance. Mbappé's blank on the scoresheet was less a crisis than the punctuation mark of a game that refused to let him find the final line. Alonso's calm about the matter felt strategic, to treat results as patterns, not anomalies. Looking ahead, the squad scatters for international duty, and that breathing space will be a test of focus. Can players keep Alonso's ideas warm and unfractured across separate camps and different demands, or will the brief separation dim the sparks the coach has been nursing? The manager's praise for Carreras was not empty flattery. It was a register of belief that certain arrivals can alter the architecture of a team, and on this night Carreras looked like someone capable of doing just that. there are broader questions too. Madrid's style under Alonso is still a work in progress, a weaving between old prestige and new clarity. Will Alonso mould his inheritors into a team that presses with ruthless coordination, or will he rely on the flash skills of individuals to carry the day? The answer will ripple through Champions League nights and domestic pressure cookers alike. For now, the win is a measured victory, necessary and useful, but not definitive. It bought time, built small confidence, and offered glimpses of personnel solving problems, while reminding everyone how slim margins still are. In conversation after the match, supporters argued not over the outcome, but over the manner. Passion clung to the edges of the night like confetti that wouldn't settle, and debates about VAR, intensity and selection will follow the team into training and meetings. Xabi's message was simple and severe. Keep pushing, keep shaping, and beware of easy narratives. The season's true tests remain ahead, and this result should be treated as a chapter that needs sharper sentences. When the Champions League returns and the calendar tightens, the kind of surgical improvements Alonso demanded will become less academic and more existential. Football's tiniest details will be amplified under European lights, where mistakes become magnified and reactions have weight. Madrid's squad will need to convert raw talent into predictable outcomes, to turn flashes of brilliance into repeatable processes rather than one-off fireworks. Alvaro Carreras' emergence tonight was a reminder that sometimes a single signing can alter a locker room's emotional grammar. Stability breeds confidence, and confidence breeds cleaner decisions on the pitch. The manager's emphasis on pressing, on conviction, and on correcting small errors points to a season where marginal gains could decide trophies. For supporters, this was a night of relief wrapped in caution. The scoreboard offered 3 points, but the real work, Alonso insisted, begins now. Alonso's message was clear: tighten the details, sharpen the pressing, and convert talent into repeated results when the real tests arrive.